tell you a little story, and this is one of my favorite passages in the Bible is Psalms 91, where he says two basic things. He covers us with his wings. How many here have ever raised chickens? Anybody raise chickens beside me? Marge, did you raise chickens? Midge? Midge, did you raise chickens? All right. All right. They're special creatures. Taste good, lay nice eggs, and they're friendly. They really are. They're not like geese. How many have ever raised geese? Oh, man, they'll chase you around. They're bad. But chickens, and I've had all kinds. I had what they call them, Aracondas and White Rock and the Reds and all that kind of. But my favorite was the Banties. Why did I like the Banties better than the rest? Because the Banty hen made the best mother of all. We had one hen that every 3 months I would go in there and put new chicks underneath her. And she'd adopt them like they were her own. She'd wake up in the morning. Well, she'd go to bed at night, like this. Wake up in the morning like that. Whoa, who was here? The phantom. Wow. But she would take them, every one of them, and teach them how to be a good chicken. Well, everything went fine on the ranch, except we had a wilderness area next door wherein a fox had his den, her den. And the fox had some baby fox. How many have seen baby fox? Aren't they cute? These were ugly. Because Mama had to feed them. And she decided that my chickens were her feed bag. And every few nights, another chicken would disappear. Instead of having 40 chickens, I had 30 chickens and 20 chickens and 10 chickens. And I was down to one chicken. I could not catch this fox. She came at about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and invaded my chicken house and drug out another chicken. I had my shotgun ready. I had my boots at the side of the bed. I was ready to go. And I heard this terrible squabbling out there, and the only thing left was my little Banty hen with 3 chicks under her wings. I jumped in my boots. I ran out there as fast as I could to the barn, and the fox was gone. He had dropped his activity when he saw me coming out and fled to his wilderness area and left my little Banty hen laying on the ground with her wings outstretched. He'd killed her. And the other chicks I had buried, but other chickens I had buried, just buried them. This one broke my heart. So I dug a hole. As I lifted to pick her up into the hole very carefully, because I love that chicken, under her wings were the 3 little chicks still alive. She had given her life for those chicks. She could have run away and let him have the chicks, but no. She protected those babies with her life. And God so loved you that he spread out his wings on that cross and gave us everlasting life. Today I want to talk to you about turning it on, tuning it in. How many know what this is? Pretty old-fashioned, isn't it, huh? What do they call it? A boombox? We used to call it a radio. Now they have iPods, ePods, no pods, iPods. I don't know, all kinds of pods are coming out. Ear pods, yeah. And you see people walking around with the string coming out of their ear. You think, man, they need to go to a doctor. Look at that. That black stuff stringing out of their ear. But they're just going down the street. Or they're driving their car. How many have noticed that? And the connection is that they'd turned on that instrument that gave them the feelings to do what they do. Give them information that they didn't have before. Television has 4 or 5 news stations. Thought I had a cord there. Oh, it's over there, okay. Great. And whatever thing you turn on is what you will end up being. It's probably the most important thing I'm going to tell you. Whatever you turn on is what you will become. If you turn on to the pleasures of this world, you turn on to massive information of all kinds. If you turn on if you go to school to be a doctor, that's what you're going to be. You're not going to be a mathematician or a scientist or a dentist, hopefully. Or, you'll have a higher calling. You'll be a doctor. We decide what we're going to turn on that will determine what we will be. Now, Cindy works really hard to get the television to say what she wants it to say. And whatever she puts up there is what we get to read. Right? And I like the idea of the words of the songs being up there so we can know what the people are singing all the time. I like the idea of being able to sing the hymns looking up. I like all those ideas, but if that's not turned on, how much will happen? Nothing. We need to plug it in, turn it on. Now this machine here, if the cord were attached or the batteries were good, I could punch and do different things. And I could turn that dial to all kinds of stations. My choice. First, we need to turn on our life-seeking force. I talked to a young man today, not today, it was last Thursday, at Jack in the Box, and he said, Dave, I'm worried about dying, what's going to happen? And so we had quite a conversation. And I said, what are you worried about dying for? What are you, 30? No, he said, I'm 33. Getting old, And he said, but I do know I'm going to die. My grandfather just died. And I know I'm going to die. And what's going to happen afterwards? He was turning on the thought that is the most important thought for everybody. What's going to happen when I die? People don't want to die because they don't know what's going to happen. The greatest fear we have in the world is death. Unless you're of a certain religion, you get 7 virgins if you die. That's a good deal. But I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? We don't want to die because we don't know what's going to happen next. That's the human condition. Aren't you glad that we can die with knowing where we're going and what we're going to be doing? We're teaching on that on a Thursday at noon, occasionally, when we get by other things. But it is a great comfort to know where you're going. How many times were you as a child put in the car or the buggy and said, we're going for a trip, and you said, where are we going? Don't worry, you'll know when we get there. How many have ever had your parents do that to you? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Well, usually that was a time when you went to get a vaccination or something. They didn't want to tell you. But we always want to know what's going to happen when we die. First thing we need to do is learn what to turn on. Who are we going to listen to? Who is proof of what can happen after you die? Now we have Dante's Fury and all that kind of stuff that people tell us people are going to cook and boil and bake and all that kind of stuff when they die. I never could understand if hell is so hot, how come the worm never dies? How many have seen a worm on a hot sidewalk? Didn't take much, did it? It just become grease. So that's not too hot. So this whole kind of thing that we've been told is sort of contradictory. Let me tell you that there's one place, one station we can turn into that will give us the correct information. And it's called J-U-S, Jesus, right? Because he not only died, but he rose again and went back to his Father. Now, we that have followed him, he told Martha in John chapter 11, he said, your body will die. And really, I've wished mine would have died a few times. It hurts so much. Anybody have that feeling yourself? But your spirit, the real you, will never die. Wow, what a great revelation. So we've got to turn on thought. Are we going to think about these things? Most people don't want to talk about it. Don't talk about death. Don't talk about what's going to happen. How many have friends that have told you that? Whoa. They get very anxious, very angry. If you ask them about what's going to happen when you die, whoo, they don't want to talk about it. So the first thing, we need to be realistic and turn into our thought pattern. Where are we going and what are we going to do? That way we can prepare ourselves for the trip. I went to a convention one time years ago in Nashville, Tennessee. How many have heard of Nashville? I went there for a Christian convention. And the hotel I stayed in had a swimming pool. And I wanted to swim. But guess what? They didn't want me to swim because I didn't have a bathing suit. I wasn't prepared for where I was going. We need to learn to prepare where we're going to. Study to show ourselves approved. To make sure that we got our suit with us. Make sure that everything is correct and we know where we're going and what we're going to do. Tune in to the one who knows where we're going to go. Tune in to the one that showed us what's going to happen. Tune in to his word that explains it. Tune in to the one who let us know that it's okay when the body dies, because we will not. So then how do we do this? We begin to read his letter to us. Tuesday nights we're going to be studying John, Big John, which tells us a whole lot about what's going on and what's going to happen. And I encourage you to come out Tuesday night, not just for the food, not just for the fellowship, but to find out where we're going and what we're going to do and what God has already done for us. You can have an assurance what's going to happen when you die. If you'll tune in to the Word and then begin to trust the Word and obey. This morning, coming to church, I blew a stop sign. How many know what that means? Stop light. Worse. I zipped right through that baby, and just as I looked on my left-hand side, I saw it was red. Whoa! I had been looking at something on the right and didn't look at the signals. We need to keep our eyes focused on the eternal. Focus what's ahead. I've asked Pat to come and read a very special reading that talks about how we can stay on track. And it's by listening to that still small voice. Pat, would you come this time?
There is a mighty battle going on for control of your mind. Heaven and earth intersect in your mind. The tugs of both spheres influence your thinking. I created you with the capacity to experience foretastes of heaven. When you shut out the world and focus on my presence, you can enjoy sitting with me in heavenly realms. This is an incredible privilege reserved for precious ones who belong to me and seek my face. Your greatest strength is your desire to spend time communing with me. As you concentrate on me, my spirit fills your mind with life and peace. The world exerts a downward pull on your thoughts. Media bombard you with greed, lust, and cynicism. When you face these things, pray for protection and discernment. Stay in continual communication with me whenever you walk through the wastelands of this world. Refuse to worry, because this form of worldliness will weigh you down and block awareness of my presence. Stay alert, recognizing the battle being waged against your mind. Look forward to an eternity of strife-free living reserved for you in heaven. You are surrounded by the love of God.
As you go through this week, wake up in the morning and plug in. Not to some silly iPod and dumb music and dumb words, but the thoughts that you read in the Bible. Meditate upon his thoughts both day and night, and he will guide your feet. In this passage that we read, it said, "They that set their love on me, I will have my angels in charge of them. Nothing shall harm them. They'll have strength. They'll have courage. They'll make it through the day, and they'll go to bed wrapped in his love." So I encourage you this week, start the morning with maybe a passage in the Bible. Don't read a chapter, don't read a verse. Read something that's like a paragraph. And think about it. Keep it plugged into your mind all day. And watch what comes out begin to change. The peace you receive is the peace you give. The joy you receive is the joy you give. The life you receive is the life you give. Be an amplifier of the love of God in your life. God bless you.